Christmas.
What we do here is go back.
Now we're live, bro. We're live as can be.
We are officially live with the Peak Fiction Podcast. Welcome, everyone. This is the first episode. Sorry for the technical issues. We were working out a couple of kinks, but we are here now. Thank you for all of your patience, and thank you to everyone in the chat for hanging out. My name is Garrick. You may know me from the YouTube channel Key Issues. I'm a frequent collaborator here on this channel. And the gentleman to my direct left is Crisis himself. I believe this is the first face reveal of Crisis, so everyone give him a warm round of applause and welcome him to his own channel here in the Peak Fiction Podcast.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Here I am.
In all his glory. Yes, sir. And of course, our third member of the Peak Fiction Podcast with us today is another frequent collaborator of both Key Issues and Crisis, and that is Tylearn. Or Tylearn.
Yo! What's going on?
So we're all here. We all decided to come together and put our brains together to make this podcast because we all have similar interests. We're all on YouTube. We all make content together. So we figured, why not hop on once a week and talk about different topics that we're interested in: power scaling, pop culture, video games, superheroes, anime, movies, TV, all of that fun stuff put into one amazing podcast where we can get our thoughts out there. So I think you all have seen the thumbnail for today's video, and this is going to be an interesting one because I don't think most episodes are going to be like this, but maybe they will if you guys end up liking it. But to kind of get the ball rolling on this and give you guys a little bit of backstory, if you haven't seen Tylearn's most recent video, he recently published a video exposing another large YouTuber with about 400,000 subscribers, and his name is DanCo. And he exposed him for basically rampant plagiarism. And essentially, Tylearn had done some research and found out that DanCo had been plagiarizing pretty much for years at this point, various publications and writers, where DanCo is not just taking their ideas, but is copying their written work word for word and then regurgitating it as his own in his own video. And this doesn't just affect those publishers like Screen Rant, Nerdist, Polygon, CBR, Game Rant, Fiction Horizon was one of them. The Ringer was one of them, if you're familiar with their podcast network. He was plagiarizing all of these people, and it doesn't just affect them. It affects us as well, not just on like a personal level of being YouTubers who also power scale and don't want to see this sort of unethical behavior on the platform, but from a personal perspective where this guy is stealing our ideas and then cobbling them together with other people's written work and making videos that essentially siphon views from us. So it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty detailed video, and Tylearn did a great job of highlighting all of the issues, and I highly recommend that you go check that out after this podcast. But we're going to talk about our feelings, how we feel about it, how does it affect us. The information was really shocking, and I want to toss it to Crisis first to get the ball rolling on this topic and really lay out how he feels about the entire situation. And Crisis, how did you feel when you first saw the evidence? How did you feel in the wake of things, and how do you feel now?
Well, I was shocked then, and I'm even more shocked now, to be honest. Because truly, I mean, I don't know of anybody in our field, I guess, that has ever respected DanCo. Um, but to know that it's like just rampant plagiarism, on top of, what we all thought was just like bad scaling or just weird takes, but it's not even his takes. It's not even constructive. So, but yeah, and then a phenomenon that you and I most of all have witnessed is we know for a fact he's in our community tabs. And for me, I stopped, like, we posted them recently because we were waiting to see if maybe he would make videos on our community post regardless. Like, that's why I put like Miles versus Miles and Rocky versus Daredevil, because those just seem like pretty easy bait. But in a way that it's impacted me directly is I haven't really posted. Like, I'll post weird, like, comic panels that I find or whatever in my community tab, but doing, like, we can't really do ideas for future videos because he'll just steal them. He'll just see that that's what we're planning on doing and then beat us to the punch by finding an article, reading it off, and then I don't know if he has an editor or if he does it all, who knows, but just very quickly cobbling together footage. But yeah, no, I think Ty's video is pretty much a silver bullet. It goes through everything in pretty excruciating detail, so I'll turn it over to the man himself, I think.
Yeah, Ty, let us know. I mean, how did you feel when you first found that DanCo was stealing from people like this? I mean, I don't think it really affects you directly as much as it does Crisis and myself, just because he's making videos that are really in our realm where he hasn't. I don't think he's really touched anime that much, and I think that's for a specific reason. He would just get absolutely torched. I think if he made like Dragon Ball Z videos or One Punch Man or Jujutsu Kaisen or Naruto or anything, if he's reading a Screen Rant article, he's going to get obliterated, right? Whereas like the comic book community, I don't think they're as into power scaling, even though they are. I don't think they're as into it. So how do you feel about it? What did you think when you first saw it? And yeah, just give us your general thoughts.
Well, for the anime thing, I kind of want to touch on that first. It's funny you say that because someone DM'd it to me, and it was my buddy Professor Fiction. I don't know if you probably seen his videos. He did a popular S class ranking of all the S class heroes in One Punch Man. Who drops it less than 2 weeks later, trying to cop those same views he got, and then just got his channel tanked? That was him. So it's just like, and then right now he has a Phantom Troop ranking that's going on. I wouldn't be surprised. All of a sudden, DanCo, he's a Hunter x Hunter enthusiast. He loves the series. He's probably gonna steal a Screen Rant article and probably make it together right now. But for that, it's just mainly like, I guess, whatever is just popping off, right? Like for Spider-Man, for example, or for like when Crisis was making his videos, the first thing he did was probably just look at his channel. With the Rocky things, the first thing he did was probably look at his channel. It didn't, like you said, it didn't really affect me personally. I think at most it would be like the why this guy isn't close, but like everyone kind of already does it. But the difference is that at least like it's a title. It's not like the video itself, right? Like the video itself can be very different. People can have different opinions, different scaling, different like takes, which is like why I don't really get too mad at that. like that's what Crisis recently, like he went up to me and asked me for the, oh, can I use for the Toby Insom versus match. I'm like, bro, it's not that big. Like you know what I mean? Like I respect that, but I think what really creases, like really gets under my skin is just like it feels so artificial. And it's like every video you watch from DanCo, like you'll watch one video, you'll watch another, right? You'll watch like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle video, and you'll watch like Marvel versus DC. It's just the same. Like it feels like it's just the same video. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It just like it feels like he's just saying the same thing. It's like, oh, this guy is very strong. He'll say like a corny joke. You know what I mean? Like it feels so. It has no substance, and that to me is like really annoying. I really don't like YouTubers who just like make content just for like no passion, no soul, because I feel like that just takes out the whole point of it. I feel like people making content is like because you like making the videos themselves, you know what I mean? And like people can see that when you make the video. And so I feel like he just like he's trying to like make like a really easy shortcut that just takes out the whole, like, not only does it just take away people's hard work that doesn't even get like as credited as his, which is completely unfair, but it just like it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And it even like it just like it begs the question, why are you like making videos in the first place? Like why are you what is the point of this? And obviously to answer that, the whole point of this is just money. It's like that's the only reason he's doing that. And when I found out that you guys and Crisis and you, because it was happening to Crisis recently, but with you it kind of felt like DanCo was kind of just like looking at your channel and stalking you like he was Batman for years, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie. And then when Crisis started popping off, then that's what happened. But I feel like it was bound to happen. Like this entire situation, it was bound to happen, bro. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think the point that both you guys made about it feeling soulless is pretty apt, because it really is soulless at the end of the day, because he didn't take the time to research it himself, so he doesn't really know what he's talking about. He's sort of just saying someone else's words. He's kind of their mouthpiece without, of course, giving them credit or taking responsibility for his thievery at all. But I mean, Crisis, do you want to elaborate on that at all? Like that point of, okay, this guy has weird scaling, and we always thought it was funky and bad, so we never really watched his videos or dug that deep into it because there's no point. It's just not interesting. It's not even interesting to the point where you could rewatch it and like react to it, because there's really nothing to react to. He doesn't say anything. So finding out that it was all brought together through somebody else's work makes a lot of sense. So I guess I just want to hear what you have to say about kind of that perspective of it. Like, do you think that DanCo really ever cared at the end of the day, or did he just see the money rolling in and took the easy way out? Because me, as a YouTuber with at a similar size as him, we have about the same number of subs, and when you start hitting that stride, when you start seeing the paycheck come in, and the paycheck looks pretty good, you want to keep that going, obviously, and you want to make engaging content that people care about, but you also do start caring about the money. I didn't start YouTube because I wanted to make money. I started YouTube because I wanted to talk about superheroes, because I worked at a comic book shop. I like talking about superheroes, and I wanted more people to hear what I had to say, I guess. But then it does at some point become about the money a little bit. And whether you want to admit it or not, we get paid to do this. So was it a case of this guy started YouTube because he cared about what he was talking about and loved versus battles, and eventually just lost his way? Or do you think it was just all like, I'm just going to get as big as I can get, making the worst content possible and, get a paycheck at the end of the day? Or did he start off plagiarizing and just not realize that it was like a bad, like his English teacher never told him, like, you can't do this?
I think it's hard to say, because his videos are really hard to watch in general. Like I think like what I watch typically power scaling wise is usually either it's one of you guys who upload, and like I talk to you guys all the time about your scaling, and so it's not as offensive to me. But or it's a verse I know nothing about, and so it's like, because obviously we do this, like you said, we make money, so it's
Yeah.
like, we have certain criteria that, like, why would we waste it? Usually it's like, okay, what can I learn from this? Is their editing better than mine? Are they making like more interesting arguments than mine? Let me kind of see what else is out there in the ecosystem. So as far as Danco, I have no idea if he started with good intentions, because usually, yeah, especially considering his view count, you'd assume his most recent videos are his best. So if that's the case and his old videos are that terrible, then I certainly would not go back to try to find the origin point. But um, it definitely seems like at this point, it's just for the money, and it's very slimy.
I think that was a
And
good point that you brought up about the other watching other YouTubers at power scale, because at the end of the day, and this is something I've noticed between all three of us, if we watch somebody else's content and we like their content, we like what they have to say, we usually collab with those kind of people. Like we'll be like, "Hey, you want to make a video with me on this topic?" Right? We would never be like, and of course there's stuff you can glean from other YouTubers, other good YouTubers that I've watched, like you said, editing, style, arguments, etc., etc. You can always glean things from these people to make your content better. But at the end of the day, I feel like this entire community is, we can be somewhat combative. Obviously, we like to argue about which fictional character would win in a fight, but we're very collaborative, I think. And we always come together and we always try to make videos together, but this one guy seems to be like on the outside. And I've never seen him collab with another YouTuber. But again, I think it's because he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. Like we've talked about this in private.
He doesn't collab. He doesn't engage in his comment section. He has a Discord server that he doesn't talk in. He doesn't live stream, and I think all these things is because if anyone pressed him on any subject, he would get revealed that he has no idea what he's talking about.
He would fold instantly. Like if somebody wanted to talk about his most recent videos, for example, Omni-Man versus Homelander, or ranking the boys or ranking the Gen V characters, and they're like, I think I have a little hiccup with like X, Y, and Z you said, like, what do you have to say about that? He'd be like, I don't know. He wouldn't have anything to say because he literally doesn't know, so he'd be telling the truth at the end of the day. But what else is interesting, and I don't even know if Ty knows this, but since you uploaded that video, Ty, he's uploaded 2 more videos, and both of the videos that he's uploaded since you exposed him are both plagiarized. His Gen V ranking is from Screen Rant, and his boys ranking is from Fiction Horizon. And we looked at him today. So he's not stopping, and like Crisis said, has he even seen the exposed video? Does he know it exists? It doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like he ever looks at anything other than other people's channels. Like he doesn't look at his own channel.
I genuinely think he just like sits in a corner, like looks at a Screen Rant article, records one, bangs out a 20-minute video, bangs out a 20-minute video. It just like, he has not probably seen sunlight. He probably eventually will have to, and when he does, he will definitely see the video. But I don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of what we're waiting on, right, guys?
Well, he looks, like I said, he looks at all our community tabs, and I posted Ty's video in my community tab, so I feel like it's only a matter of time before he sees it. And I mean, I just don't like, the part that strikes me is just, I don't know, put yourself and anyone watching who, I'm going to assume you have a soul and integrity. Can you imagine doing, as Ty probably aptly described, his workflow, and as it evidently is the case, he'll just see what's popular. He probably doesn't watch most of this stuff, because then he'd have his own opinions. Like because we're motivated by the stuff we see. If we're like, oh, this would be a cool video. Like I just got done seeing season 2 of Loki, and I'm like, that finale was fire. I want to make videos about that. So you would have your own opinions, but based on the fact that he so consistently is stealing his opinions from these articles, I'm gonna assume he doesn't have one of his own, which means I assume he hasn't watched any of the material he's talking about. And then like, just imagine how lame that is. Like how creatively unfulfilling that would be.
Yeah.
So if he does, I can't imagine any reaction he would have any ounce of depth or sincerity.
I think he would just be worried about his pockets, right?
Yeah.
And his, like, I think his reputation's kind of in the dirt from like people that are in the community, but people outside of the community, just normal people on browsing YouTube that like watching versus battles as well, are not going to know. So I think they're the people that really need to be informed, especially if he's not going to say anything or change his ways at all. Because, like I said, since the video came out, he's already published 2 more plagiarized videos. At this point, the people need to know. And I think there are some people that are out there and more people that will find out about it. And they'll be like, I don't really care. They're not going to have any moral compass. They're going to have no empathy. They're not going to have any understanding for what not only.
But they're not good videos.
That's true.
The other
but
component.
The people that enjoy them. We don't like them, but that's a personal taste thing. Even if he was making his own content and like nothing was stolen, we still probably wouldn't like the videos just because we don't think they're not that deep. Right? They don't go as deep as anything we make. But the people that do like it and do defend him are going to, at the end of the day, just be like, we don't care. We like his videos. We're going to keep watching them. But again, those people have no morals and no empathy and are probably sociopaths. But yeah, it's a really weird situation, him not saying anything and still uploading. So I feel like it's just he hasn't seen it yet. So I hope the video keeps growing. I hope the word keeps getting out there and keeps spreading.
Because people are commenting in his latest videos. If you check his newest comments, there's a few of them that are, calling out plagiarism.
There's like, I bet this one's what article did he plagiarize on this one?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
There's a few of those in his latest comments, so...
It's also interesting the universes that he's making videos on now. Obviously, it's popular stuff like The Boys and Invincible. Those are 2 verses that are incredibly, incredibly easy to power scale. Like, anyone can do it. All you have to do is watch the show, really. Yeah. And like, maybe if you want to go that extra deep layer, which we've done in the past, is like watch the audio description of The Boys episodes or read the websites and stuff like that. But there's not like a bunch of guidebooks. There's not a bunch of comics that you need to get into. Invincible is really just one long story. There's a few spin-offs, but really, really simple stuff. Other verses like God of War, which he has made videos on, or like Star Wars, or pretty much any anime, or like the actual comic book like DC and Marvel source materials, those are incredibly hard to get into. So I wonder if he continues on this path, if he continues plagiarizing, but he gets into these universes that get harder and harder and harder to properly, accurately get right. Will there be more pushback, or do you think he's sort of reaching a point of like infallibility where the views is all that really matters, and the thumbnails are going to get clicks and the topics are going to get clicks, so the content really doesn't matter at the end of the day? The people, the diehards that really care, are going to move on and find channels like ours or somebody else. But again, the regular people that just browse YouTube are going to click and they're going to watch for a little bit and they're not going to know any better. So do you think he'll hit a point where people are like, this sucks, or will he just keep growing? Like, Ty, what do you think?
I mean, like I was saying earlier, he's been doing this for years, and like it's been like since like 2017, 2016, people were already calling him out for this stuff. if it wasn't like he's only been getting bigger. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Like I don't really think there's anything stopping that, especially like given the fact that even people on my video who have watched DanCo, like obviously there was a lot of, oh my god, I watched this guy, like this is messed up. But then there's people who like, bro, there was someone who thought like I'm a plagiarist because my avatar is inspired from Chopper from One Piece. So like he just like tried calling me, like he called me a plagiarist. He implied you and Crisis were plagiarists. I was like there's always just gonna be those like blind diehard, this is my goat and like I'll defend him like no matter what, and it's only gonna get bigger. Like it's definitely I don't know. Like I think maybe he'll respond maybe at best he'll try and respond, or maybe like say that he's gonna try and do better, or maybe like do the whole like I'm gonna change for you guys, I'm gonna change as a better person, like usually what a famous YouTuber does when they get caught with something like stupid on camera, but 9 times out of 10 it probably isn't gonna go anywhere like effectively.
Yeah, and I think the problem is if he does respond and he's like, I'm going to change, I'm going to do better, I'm not going to do this anymore, he can easily just lie about that. I mean, ChatGPT exists. If he wanted to take a Screen Rant article and copy and paste it and be like, reword this, he could do that. And it could still be plagiarized and just be AI, right? And we wouldn't be able to Google the words because they would be different words. They'd be in different order. But it would still be plagiarism at the end of the day. So, I don't know. I just don't think a person like this is going to really care at the end of the day to change and be different. I think it's going to be the community that has to sort of shine a light on it and push him out, unless he does actually, take those steps to change. Like, take down your videos. Stop stealing from people. But step one would be take down your videos. I wouldn't ever accept any apology from him unless he deleted pretty much everything. And most of everything for the past year has been, is under scrutiny. I won't say that every single video that he's made has been plagiarized. That would be a wild accusation. I don't know that. But there have been dozens that have been found that have been plagiarized. You have to delete those. And you should come clean on any others that you've plagiarized, and you have to delete those because they're going to be found and they're going to be exposed as well. Like, people are starting to pay attention. So I hope more people pay attention, because the only way he's ever going to change is if he gets pushback, if he gets fewer views, if his reputation goes down and his pockets get lighter. That's it. He's not going to change it just because of this video. Like, people have to know and they have to care. So I hope that's what happens, which is why we're talking about it today. It's important.
It really I don't know, it really bothers me because someone was speaking on it in Crisis's chat, like listen guys, like making YouTube videos, no matter how much time you put into editing, whatever, it takes time, and it is definitely a process, especially if it's a 10 to 20 minute video. Like, people will not sleep to get these videos out, bro. Like, you guys do not understand that. Like, a lot of work gets put into this, and for someone to just just bam out like at max 30-minute recording, if you're like stuttering a lot, reading an article that you didn't even make, didn't invest any time into, didn't bother to watch the show, read anything, like it takes away so much from other people who put their blood, sweat, and tears into this. Like, obviously a lot of people it's easier for others to edit, but regardless, it's still the process, and it's a lot for someone.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, editing takes a long time, especially when you're trying to do new things, you want it to look really good. It takes a long time. Like, sometimes to just get a minute done of a video, it can take more than an hour. So it's not a simple process, and that takes a long time. I am completely on your side with that. But what takes the longest amount of time is before you even get into the script, right? Like, you have to invest hours, even if it's just a show. You have to invest hours into watching all of it. Then you have to think about how it works together. Then you have to come up with a list, and you have to write it. And if it's something more in depth, like something I have a lot of experience with, which is the MCU or Star Wars, especially Star Wars. Star Wars has shows, movies, comics, video games. I have to go in. I have to play, Jedi Survivor. I have to play Fallen Order. I have to watch every episode of Clone Wars. I have to watch every movie. I have to read every comic. I have to buy every guidebook. I have to read every guidebook. I have to read the website. I have to stay updated on all of this. I have to read the books, novels, like 400 pages sometimes, like big novels. They drop these like every month, it seems. I have to stay up to date on that. It's a huge time sink. Like thousands of hours I've put into scaling the MCU, scaling Star Wars. So when somebody makes a video where they invested no time other than copy, Control C, Control V, that takes less than a minute to do that. Like, you find the article, you copy, you pay, maybe you don't even copy and paste it, maybe you just read it straight from the page. That takes no time. So compare the time investment that DanCo has put in, which is 5 minutes maybe to find the article and then decide, okay, this is the article I'm going to steal, and then recording it, maybe like 30 minutes like Ty said, and then a couple hours to edit, because it's not really the highest effort editing I've ever seen. No offense. Everyone's getting better. Everyone's at different levels of editing. That's fine. But the time investment, me compared to him, to make a single Star Wars video or MCU video is thousands of hours, weeks, months, years of difference. So it's unfair from that standpoint. And it's also unfair, like Crisis said earlier, when you're able to beat me to the punch because you're not doing any work, right? Like, I take longer to put my video out because I have to research and write the script. When you're not writing the script, you have a massively unfair advantage, not to mention, like, plagiarizing and profiting is illegal. So, and I know Crisis can speak to this as well. The amount of hours he's put in just to scale a single character, not even a single universe, like the Raimi Spider-Man or the Arkham Batman. How many hours does it take to get one character in the universe right, let alone the entire thing? So when someone's stealing and cutting that time by 99%, literally thousands of hours, I'm not exaggerating, guys, I swear to God, and Crisis can talk about this. I mean, how unfair is that to not just us, but also the people watching that are getting like an inferior, incorrect, inaccurate product?
Well, not only is it unfair from that perspective, but also like any time that I've ever gotten discouraged, like, oh, a few videos haven't done as well as I've wanted to, it's like, well, just you have to put more out. The way that you're successful on YouTube is just the more you exist in the algorithm, the better the chance of somebody seeing you is. And so not only is it unfair as far as like the time he's putting in compared to the time that other honest people are who are being creative unto themselves, but if you're just cutting out all the work, all you're doing is editing. I'm not even sure if he does that. He could definitely afford to pay somebody to edit, at 50% power, and pump it out, and like 1.8K videos over a span of 7 years. There's no way that you exist like that and keep up that work ethic of Control C, Control V,
right, and
don't get a sizable following and don't get a good amount of ad revenue every month, every year.
No, that's a good point.
So, I mean, that's doubly unfair, because if you put in the honest work, there's no way you can keep up with that. There's no way that you can.
That's insane. Like, I didn't even know. So I just looked on my phone because I wasn't sure. Like, because he does have almost 2,000 videos, and he's been on YouTube about the same time as I've been on YouTube. Yeah. My channel has not even 400 videos. He has 2,000.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I mean, that just shows you.
And I don't know if that counts shorts, but he has, like, I looked at his short section. You can just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And yeah, shorts is crazy good for subs.
Yeah, and that's like nothing to make a short.
Yeah,
really.
No.
Especially if you already made a video, like a full length video, you can make 10 shorts, 20 shorts out of that, right? So, it just sucks, man. So I hope everyone watching, I don't even know how many people are watching, please just make other people aware that this is going on. You don't need to go and harass DanCo, but other people do need to know this. So spread the word. Let your friends know. If you're in Discords, let them know. If your friend is a fan of DanCo, just let them know the guy is a plagiarist, and that's fine. I hope your friend, or if you watched DanCo before this and you clicked on this video, you don't even know who we are. I hope you just see that this is unethical, immoral, and I hate to say it, but plagiarism is illegal, especially when you're profiting off of it. And as Ty pointed out in his video, he makes a lot of money off of other people's work. So the word needs to be spread out there. Again, don't go harass DanCo, but you need to let other people know about Ty's video. And more is coming out. More plagiarism. It keeps happening. He's not going to stop unless he sees an impact on his pockets. So, yeah, it's a rough situation. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to throw out there. But I feel like I could rant about this for a while. I don't know if the people in the comments are feeling us or understanding what we're trying to say, but I hope you guys do. And I'm not even like, at the end of the day, I have a full-time job outside of YouTube. YouTube is a nice little bonus for me. It definitely helps me pay my mortgage. It helps me pay my bills. But there are people out there that they do this for their full-time job. And if they're making less money, that could, make the difference between a bill here or there or a certain month because this guy's uploading stolen content that siphons views away from them. It's a bad situation. It's a bad situation, right? So I really hope that it comes to an end, and I hope you guys are able to spread the word, and I hope you care about this, because it doesn't just affect us as YouTubers. I feel like it affects the whole community. I think it really does. People are accepting worse content that has no substance. It just force feeding the algorithm just bad stuff. And I think it makes our community look bad. Like people watching a DanCo video for the first time and they're like, well, this is power scaling. Like, even at the end of the day, if I disagree with like Death Battle or something, those are very highly produced. I know they pay their researchers. They have volunteer researchers. They make solid content. They make really enjoyable content. Like, we watch Death Battle. We don't even like any of their scaling most of the time, but it's their content at the end of the day. It's their words. It's not stolen from someone else. So yeah, it just really sucks. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about the DanCo situation before we move on?
Watch Ty's video. I have it pinned in the chat, and spread the word. That's all.
Yeah. I don't think anything else needs to be said that hasn't already been said, to be honest.
Yeah. Hopefully it changes. If it doesn't, I don't think we're going to shut up about this. We're probably going to keep beating the drum. I feel like I've said it, and I don't want to ramble on again, but it's just something has to be done about it. He has to take accountability at the very least. Like, at the very, very least, he has to take accountability. So, it's a really shitty situation, but Ty has an amazing video out. I hope everyone goes and checks it out just to see how blatant it is. And if you're not educated on what plagiarism is, take some time to research it. It's bad, I feel like most people in like middle school or high school have had a lesson on what plagiarism is. Maybe DanCo was absent that day. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's very unethical at the bare minimum, and illegal in certain situations, and I think we've reached that point. But yeah, so that's it. Moving on from DanCo onto not even lighter news. It's kind of depressing as well. Marvel is not doing good. And as you guys can see by my background here, I love Marvel. It's my favorite thing in the world, and Check it out right there. No, but seriously, I do really love the MCU. A lot of my channel was built off the MCU, talking about the lore, obviously power scaling it. I've done great videos with both of you guys that have been related to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of like the biggest YouTube videos from like early on in my career was really MCU stuff. I loved watching the MCU. I could not get enough of it. Every single movie, I went as soon as I possibly could. Phase 1, I was going to the midnight releases before they would do it at like 2 p.m. the day before Friday. I would go to the midnight releases. I'd be up to like 3 in the morning talking about, oh my god, Thor 1 was so crazy. Like I love the MCU. I lived and breathed it all the way up through phase 3. And then phase 4 hit, post Endgame. That post Endgame nut is not good. The post Endgame clarity is not good. And it just feels like everyone across the board is sort of feeling the same way to varying degrees. I don't think anyone is up on the MCU like they were at the peak of things. And I think we all kind of thought like it was a juggernaut that couldn't stop. Yeah, they might put out a stinker here or there. Ant-Man and the Wasp, maybe not your cup of tea. Thor the Dark World, I would kill to go back to the Thor the Dark World days, honestly. Like, Thor Love and Thunder was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Not just MCU movies, just bad movie. I feel like every show I watch, other than a couple exceptions that have come out, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, are all just bad movies that were stretched into TV shows. And everything, it just, for me, was like personally spiraling, which is why I haven't made an MCU video in a long time. Like, I used to do it almost every week, but it's gotten worse and worse and worse for me personally. And this Variety article dropped a bombshell of just Marvel news talking about how the inner workings of the studio were sort of coming together. Kevin Feige was no longer Midas. Everything he touched did not turn to gold, and a lot of it is on the decline. And I think it's mostly emphasized in their newest movie release, that being The Marvels, which made $30 million less than The Flash in its opening weekend, and The Flash was a mega flop. A mega flop. Like, and the thing about The Flash, at least, is like people were talking about it. I remember the weekend it came out, Twitter was flooded with Flash stuff. And as they say, no press is bad press. But people were talking about The Flash, and the people watched The Flash. No one is talking about The Marvels. I haven't seen a viral tweet about it, other than no one is watching the movie. So, I'm going to open this up. I know we've all read the article. Crisis, what is your personal history with the MCU, and how do you feel about Phase 4, and how do you feel about all of the things that we saw in the article about how Kevin Feige is kind of losing a handle on the whole thing? And we'll get into specifics later on all of that, but just generally, like, what's up with the MCU?
So, as far as history, I'm definitely going to date myself here for a bit, but Avengers 1 coming out, that changed the game for me. I remember I had to have all the toys. I remember my grandpa buying me a like Nerf bow and arrow thing just so I could have all of it. I had like the Hulkins, the Shield, Mjolnir, the bow, Hawkeye's bow and arrow. And then, staying with the universe, keeping up because, for a while there they cracked the code. It was like everybody was a comic book fan that had to read the next issue.
Yeah. Everyone was picking up comics. Like Civil War came out, everyone had to read that. Like it was amazing. It was an amazing time as a superhero fan. The comic books were spiking in price. Like everybody wanted to be involved in it, and the nerds were the cool guys now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking because, so much. It's such a monolith at this point that there's even stuff that like I make videos, connected to Marvel, and some stuff still slips through the cracks. But I mean, I'm trying to pinpoint where I think the Ant-Mans were never good, but overall, and then Far From Home, but overall, the Infinity Saga was like it at least had the novelty of, okay, this is the first time seeing this kind of thing. This is the first, even Dark World, right? In retrospect, this is the first buddy cop movie in the MCU, pretty much, and it's the first time we see like Thor and Loki all throughout, the same movie, interacting with each other, and banger after banger almost. Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron for what you can say, and then Ant-Man, but then Civil War, and then Doctor Strange is all right, but I mean, looking at the Multiverse Saga, um, Black Widow,
Garbage.
I haven't seen,
Not good.
and I hear is bad.
First 20 minutes, like 10 out of 10, good. Everything else, like, really bad. In my opinion. Bad movie.
Bad. Eternals, okay. Sleepy. I honestly could have.
A little long.
Yeah.
It was cool, though. I mean, I wasn't as down on... Like, I don't think it's rotten. I think... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, but, I mean, I would say it's like a 6.
And then, I'm just going through all the ones I haven't seen. I haven't seen Love and Thunder.
Worst movie ever made.
I watched Quantumania,
Second worst movie ever made.
Once it hit Disney Plus, and
Right.
laughed at it the whole time.
Sure.
Haven't seen the Marvels, really have no interest. And then that's not even counting the TV shows, which even the ones I've seen, I was like, could have done without it. But but like you said, I mean, I thought it was just me. I thought it's like, okay, I'm phased out because these things they're kind of generational. They're going after the new kids that I once was. I once was the super fan. I used to get all the toys. They're going after a different generation. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I phased out. But it seems like in mass, it does seem to be that there's a chink in the armor. It's not just like the freaks on the edge of the fandom menace are repulsed. It's like it seems
the board.
I mean, to the point across the board where this Variety article, Kevin Feige, a few days after it got released, got asked about it. Point blank, somebody was like, "Is this true? Is this true? Is this true?" And it's I don't think that could have happened. I don't think anyone would have cared or believed in the fallibility of the MCU, to the point that would happen
Right.
in an earlier phase. So yeah, and then getting into the actual contents of the article, and this was kind of corroborated today. Somebody in the chat brought it up, but it seems like Kang is no longer the plan that they're building towards. It's no longer he's the Thanos, he's the threat that each movie iterates and builds up on, like in the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
It seems like that's not the angle they're going with anymore due to the Jonathan Majors controversy.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I can pass the mic and see what we all think about that, because it seems like that's been the whole momentum they've been trying to accrue, but they've also fumbled it. We've seen 2 versions of him already die.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ty, I'd like to get your opinion on not just the Kang situation, but also what we were talking about earlier, which is sort of we're witnessing the downfall of Marvel MCU as it's happening, unfolding before us. But I don't think I want to get your opinion on this specific question. And let me lay it out for you. Do you think it is people are just done with superheroes? Is it superhero fatigue? Or is it Marvel's putting out inferior products and people are sort of starting to catch on and it's just not worth their time? Because, I asked this question, there have been plenty of very successful superhero properties come out since the MCU started on its downward trajectory, which I would say was probably around the release of Multiverse of Madness. I think the word was kind of getting out, like, yeah, this movie was good, but would have been way better without all that Illuminati stuff in it. But in the wake of this downfall, quote unquote, we've had the Batman, incredibly successful, almost made $1 billion. Peacemaker was all over the place. Everyone loved it, couldn't get enough of it. Social media was blowing up about it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it superhero fatigue or is it low quality Marvel fatigue? Like Joss Whedon imposter fatigue. Like, because I saw a clip on YouTube the other day of someone shared like the original scene from Avengers 1 where Cap and Iron Man were going back and forth and all the Avengers were sort of chiming in. And sure, it was like some of it was quippy, but everyone had their own distinct personality. And it felt like actual actors in an actual set, like acting. Whereas now it feels like every character is homogenous.
Everyone
and they're
talks
all,
the same.
Yeah, they're all just quipsters. So do you think it's superhero fatigue overall? Or do you think it's just the Marvel product is not that great? Because DC obviously has been doing very bad, other than Batman and Peacemaker, has been doing horribly. Like Blue Beetle flop, Suicide Squad flop. I don't even know what Black Adam flopped, but did better than those. So what do you think? Do you think it's just bad movies, or do you think the whole thing is sort of coming to an end?
I think there's like two things that killed it for me. One, the first thing is a little more personal to me,
Right?
just because, like, you know, I don't know if anyone is gonna be surprised by this news, but I love Spider-Man, bro. Like, Spider-Man is my guy, man. And the movie after Endgame was Far From Home. So, you know, Spider-Man, after like one of the craziest, like, regardless of what you think of Endgame, regardless of new opinions, if it's overrated, everyone was talking about it. It was crazy. Like, come on now. I go and see Far From Home. I was very, 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 very disappointed. Now, Phase 4, I feel like is weird, like really weird when it comes to quality. Like, I feel like movies like Shang-Chi are really good. Shows like even like the Marvel shows like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I saw that. I didn't see Loki all the way. I only saw episode 1. I did not like see Loki at all, but I heard like that's great. It's doing amazing. I like there are some good stuff in Phase 4, but I feel like what kind of took it away is the second thing I'll get into, and that is the TV shows kind of like coming out pretty like consistently. Like, I don't know how many shows we got in 1 year, but we got a lot, right? We got like WandaVision, Falcon. I don't know how many exactly, but Loki was in the same year too, right?
Yeah, it just felt like we could never get a break. And I feel like when all of that was announced, we were like, yes, MCU, every month we have something new. We have a movie or we have a show. It's going to be amazing. And then
But
we found out
like
quickly.
it's super like subpar, and it doesn't like at most, like, what it does is like it makes you like a character that, like, you know, that you've either already liked before or you didn't really like care too much. Like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier made me like Falcon and Bucky way more as characters.
Yeah.
Like, especially Falcon, because Falcon, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, if your favorite character was Falcon before the show, like, I really, like, don't know what to tell you. Like, Falcon was lame. I'm sorry. But it's just, like, I don't really... It just felt like it was not building up to anything. And then, like what Crisis was saying, the only thing that it was building up to was Kane, which is like, all right, cool. But now it's like, it's not even real anymore. So now we're just, like, back to where we were when, like, Phase 4 was kind of getting a little overwhelming with the TV shows. And
yeah, like what was the point? And I guess the point in the early phases was always like individual story, individual character growth, and we got a lot of that. But at the same time, slowly building up to Thanos, but not in like an overbearing way. I feel like with Kang, they've already been sort of overbearing. Like, Thanos didn't do shit.
They didn't have to show him.
Thanos didn't do shit until Infinity War. Nothing. So we had 3 phases of let's get to know the Avengers, right? And we fucking love the Avengers. So when Infinity War and Endgame came out, we had real heroes to root for. Like, I don't know if you guys had the same experience I did in Endgame, but people were standing and cheering like if they were at a sporting event, like losing their minds during that movie. People were sobbing when Iron Man died. Like, there's a girl in the back just losing her mind, crying so hard like she was at her parents' funeral. Like, we loved these characters. And now it just feels like I don't even know who the fuck these characters are anymore. They're all the same, dude. So, I feel like this is a big problem with the Kang thing that we brought up. It's Kevin Feige doesn't know what's going on anymore, and all the scripts are changing mid-production and even post-production, where they're having the visual effects team, and Crisis brought this up, is having to change the entire show basically off because they're not willing to do more shooting, or the limited shooting that they can do is not enough to really get the point across. So they're changing scripts mid-production. I know, for a fact, Mahershala Ali, who's signed on to play Blade, like it seems like a decade ago, like forever ago, almost quit over script issues. And if you've seen any of the stuff that leaked about what those scripts were, they were all just dog ass. Like, half of them were not even Blade movies. And I feel like it's so easy to make a Blade movie. Just make John Wick, but with vampires. It's not hard, like, to come up with a concept. Sure, the script might be hard, but the concept is easy. It's there. So they've rewritten that movie like 4 times now. They just have no direction. I feel like Kevin Feige is spreading himself too thin. They have no real captain. They have no real leader, and the entire verse is suffering from it. And I think it's bringing down everything. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just ask, like, what did Hawkeye do for the MCU? The show Hawkeye, not the character, the show.
No, that's a good point.
It put Kate Bishop on the board. It put her on the board to be, spoilers, a post-credit stinger in the Marvels to set up Young Avengers. That's why that show exists, because they introduced Kingpin, but obviously he already has 3 seasons of prior material to inform his, whatever, if they're gonna have it be canon or not. But yeah, and then also something else on the subject of, like, what are we building toward, or just like how far it's fallen, is like 10 years ago. And I was telling I think a mutual friend Chad about it. I was saying this the other day, but if they had revealed an X-Men in the movies, in the MCU, people would be losing their minds 10 years ago, 5 years ago probably. They reveal Beast in the Marvels. It got leaked, and no one's rushing to see that movie, and nobody really cares. And they put Charles Xavier in Multiverse of Madness, and we just watched them get killed off anyway. It's like, and my question was, and I had just had the epiphany, but when Disney bought Star Wars, immediately, they bought it in 2012, immediately went into production on Force Awakens. And that movie was out 2015. And they've owned X-Men and Fantastic Four for how long?
Long time.
And a long time at this point, and we've gotten 2, like, worthless cameos in Multiverse of Madness, the worst part of the movie. They're just there to die. That's it.
Yeah.
And Miss Marvel being called a mutant. Namor being called a mutant. And it's like, if you're... Why are we wasting time? Like, why if you have the budget for a Moon Knight show that barely anyone's going to watch, that's going to spread all your VFX crew thin, or just all this, like, why is there a She-Hulk show and not why do we get that before we got Wolverine versus Hulk, if they've owned Wolverine for this long?
I think
they're waiting to do the multiverse. Because that's played out by now. I'm sorry.
No, it is. Everyone's doing it. It's. I really think that, and this is of course just speculation, but I think if I had to guess that we have Fantastic Four and X-Men in our back pockets, and X-Men was the biggest Marvel property other than Spider-Man for decades, and we have those, but the Avengers are now sort of rivaling the popularity of the X-Men. So
Yeah.
we don't need the X-Men while we have the Avengers. And we can save that in our back pocket. And then when shit turns sideways, we drop the X-Men announcement. We drop the X-Men movie. And now people are excited again, right? Once they've gotten tired of the Avengers, here's the X-Men. Here's Fantastic Four. You love us again, right? Like,
I don't know, because if, isn't the Ant-Man guy doing the Fantastic Four movie? It isn't like Beast is in the Marvels, but I don't think anybody wants to see an X-Men movie with the energy or I'm not going to say level of care. I don't know. It seems like everybody's under a crunch. And
we also have
the
Deadpool
artists, the directors,
coming, right?
Deadpool, I am excited for, but only because we've been promised that it's going to stay true to. It's going to be R-rated. It's still going to be, Ryan and crew at the helm. So I'm going to take it at its word and trust that. But how many more chances like that are we going to get in the Marvel machine, if that even reigns true?
And speaking of the multiverse, man, I am tired of this shit. I am tired. Like,
Yeah.
Toby coming back obviously was awesome. Okay, we don't need everyone
That's
else.
it.
I don't think
Yeah.
Halle Berry needs to come back as Storm. We don't need to see fucking Ben
Elektra.
Affleck as Daredevil. We don't need to see, like, we don't need this shit, man. Cast new X-Men, all right? Like,
Well, they have. Oh, they're like, okay, yes, people like the good casting of Beast in X-Men 3, but he's just CGI. It's not even. It's not even what I liked in the back in the day. It's completely different. It's the same nasty digital paste that they've been showing me for too long now.
I just
Yeah,
want new interpretations of
I want
characters,
a fresh
right?
X-Men story without Wolverine, like one X-Men movie with no Wolverine.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
not
maybe
happening,
have
bro.
like homeless Logan like looking like with like in a bar or something, like as a cameo. Just like have like four members, four core X-Men members, and just like have fun. Like, come on, man. Like how like we've had like pretty good like team movies. I feel like Eternals was a little too long, but I feel like that movie wasn't really. I guess the people there were trying. It felt like it didn't really feel entirely soulless, in my opinion. It just was a little like long.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, amazing. Guardians, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've gotten plenty of good family products, team up products, productions.
Products. I mean, they kind of feel like products these days, other than like obviously Suicide Squad and what James Gunn is doing, essentially across the board. But that sort of ties into the point that I made earlier. Like the Guardians 3 was like the end game for Guardians, and we already really love those characters and really cared about those characters. And I feel like we just don't care about the new characters. Shang-Chi, when is Shang-Chi showing up again? Because we had, when did Captain America 1 come out? And then we got
13. I think it came
no, it
out
was before
same
20.
year.
It was like 2011,
Yeah,
right? Or
I thought
2010.
it was 2011.
And then
No, I think it was 2011.
Avengers came out.
Yeah.
And then Winter Soldier came out in what, 2014? So we got
Soon
Cap
after.
back to back to back.
Yeah.
And then we got Avengers 2. When is Shang-Chi showing up again? Like, everyone liked this guy. Why were there no plans for a sequel? Like, why were there no plans for him to be in something?
Yeah.
Why
It's almost like you had the Infinity Saga, and then they're like, okay, TV shows will spin off those characters.
Yeah.
Those characters will now appear in shows. But then the movies that they had planned already, they're like, well, we can't make a show of Shang-Chi because we're setting up a new guy in Moon Knight, and we need to do a Falcon and Winter Soldier show. All these shows could have been movies also.
Where's Captain
that's another
America? We have a new Captain America. He hasn't shown up in years. The Eternal.
He's on the cruise. They got the Avengers,
You're
guys. Right. If you want live action Avengers, a new live action Avengers with a new team, you have to go to Disney Cruise, and they have a segment where they fight Ultron. But for a movie, we have to wait till 2025 to see the new.
I
Captain
feel like
America lead the team.
I feel like the whole like show format really killed it because like the whole concept of it is really good. Like initially, yeah, but people would rather like going to the movies and watching watching it is just like it just hits different, especially with like, you know, if the movie is just like crazy good, gets the entire audience hyped. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the show format, I feel like just kind of killed it. Like shows like Loki and WandaVision work well in that show format, but like what you said, Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely could have been a movie. I mean, like,
I think it deserved to be a movie. You're
yeah,
passing the
like
torch
I
to
feel
the
like
new
the main-
Captain America. Like that should be on
the
the big
main
screen.
the main issue, I feel like the main issue sometimes it's like, especially with like Falcon, Hawkeye, and like Moon Knight, you have the beginning, which is like pretty good. It feels like you're watching a movie. Middle is just like filler, like not as good budget because it's a show, and then you have the finale, which is like as good as the beginning, and then that's the end of the show. That's basically what you get. You get something like it's like what Garrick was saying for Black Widow. It's like, okay, 10 out of 10 at the start for like 10 minutes, and then
It's
middle
just a bunch of waffling.
It's filler. It's soulless, just like CGI smeared nothing.
Yeah, and I think also just to tie back to the previous point of like shit happening and not ever being addressed again. A fucking Eternal started to come out of the ground and has not ever been mentioned since. No one has said a word in anything.
Yeah.
Not even like a mention. Nothing. That's like one of the craziest things to happen in the MCU. 2 kaijus were fighting at the Great Pyramids. No one cares. It's just weird. And there was always like the thing of, in phases 1, 2, and 3, like, why didn't the Avengers just show up and save Iron Man? Okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But all of that stuff was eventually addressed, and all of that stuff was like talked about. It all sort of tied together and made more sense. And nothing that happened in Iron Man 3 was like Eternals crazy or Moon Knight crazy or any of this stuff. So it's just,
well, even
it's getting
like
kind of ridiculous.
Think about how the ramifications that the Battle of New York have. Even like that was in Loki or Hawkeye. That was like the origin story for
Kate Bishop.
and Loki technically, because it spins off of the first event, the events of that, and then the Triskelion attack or whatever in Winter Soldier that was brought up in. That was like kind of integral to Homecoming because they got weapon tech from places like that.
Yep.
So they used to be good. I mean, that was one of the things is like
it's all connected. Now it just
it's all
feels
connected.
disjointed.
All these, right?
It's all disjointed. That should be the new fucking motto.
It's all disjointed.
Yeah.
Is Daredevil canon, or are we?
What's up with
X-Men?
Netflix?
The most you literally get
right?
is just another character from the movies come in. Like you'll see Wong or like Clint.
Yeah, Wong
like
is the glue.
Bro, that's the connection. That's the connection between the
Wong showing
MCU.
up.
Yeah, just Wong.
Which the novelty's worn off because we had Endgame with every character ever in it. So it's like, whoa, Kate Bishop has met Kamala Khan. That's crazy. It's like, well, we saw literally every character in the on screen at the same time.
Hold up, is that Maria Hill in Secret Invasion? Like,
whoa, insane.
Yeah, where's Coulson, bro? Coulson lives. Hashtag Coulson lives.
Like nobody's gonna go crazy over like a fucking like Piper cut like Endgame cutscene like of her like, oh, I'm gonna make another Iron Man suit. Like, bro, no one's getting hyped, bro. We gotta stop. We gotta like stop adding in random characters.
The cameo at the end of Eternals was, I guess, I'm supposed to believe Blade talking off screen.
Yeah,
it's like we've come from Nick Fury showing up, in a roundabout way, right off the comic page. Obviously, the Ultimates, just stole his likeness, and he was okay with it as long as they put him in a movie. But it's like that's definitely the best. That's just going to be the best post-credit scene of all time.
The
forever.
post-credit scenes kind of seem like nothing now because like they tease stuff. But before we were like, all right, this is a commercial for the next thing.
Yep.
But it was a commercial for the next thing. Now it's a commercial for something that might maybe happen.
That might come back or just never get talked about again.
Yeah, like Falcon and Winter Soldier was the power broker, right? It was wasn't it revealing that she was the power broker?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Shang-Chi's was like Shang-Chi's sister took over the 10 rings. It's just a bunch of stuff that's never gonna matter or maybe won't matter for 10 years until after the like it was cool when Thanos showed up in Avengers, but then think about it, Thanos showed up 2 years later in Guardians 1. Like it wasn't just left on the back burner for the rest of eternity. So
and the Infinity Stones were fleshed out in that movie, which had greater implications.
It's
But now
just
it's like
tough.
a guy shows up, and I don't, it's like, okay, it's also, we kind of know what their pipeline is at this point of future releases. Unless Shang-Chi 2 materializes out of nowhere, are we gonna get a
Is that
follow up to
character ever
that
gonna show up? Like he'll
until
show up
like post
again
Secret
and
Wars?
be
Like,
I
like
hope
60 years
so, man.
old.
That was like the one cool new thing they did with Phase 4. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that movie's awesome.
that was really cool. All right, so we've been live about an hour now. We want to keep these around an hour, but we're not limited by any specific time, I don't think. But I did want to hear your opinions on this last topic here for the Marvel downfall. The eulogy that we are so eloquently giving you guys right now, and that is, okay, we talked about characters coming back in a multiverse sense. Toby, Andrew, Charles Xavier, Beast, etc., etc., etc. All these multiverse characters coming back, farming our nostalgia to force us to go to the theater and see a character or to see an actor that we liked before come back and do a little bit of something new. Piggybacking off of that, within this Variety article, there were rumors that suggested Marvel was kicking around the idea of bringing back Tony Stark and Steve Rogers. Something they said they would never do, something Robert Downey Jr. said he would never do, but I'm sure if they gave him a bag big enough, he would.
yeah.
But his last, starring appearance, I think cost like $20 million. It's probably going to be like $50 million this time. Especially considering what happened and how much he cares about the character. They'd have to give him a lot of money to come back, I feel like. But if they ended up doing this, I think it would be truly over. Like, if they showed up in Secret Wars and, like, Steve Rogers and Tony Stark teamed up with Spider-Man from the Raimiverse and Wolverine from X-Men, and, like, those were the Avengers and, like, kicked ass, I would be very upset. Because those fucking characters had their day. I got the Toby story, and I thought it ended well, and you brought him back. You nostalgia farmed me, and I loved it. I don't want him back. He's gone. He's done. It's fine.
Yeah.
Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, don't want to see him again.
His story, yeah.
Don't want to see him in Deadpool.
They tried to make his story with origins, and that's it. They leave it at that.
Logan was the perfect send-off for the character.
Oh, yeah, Logan.
I do not want to see him in Deadpool, but it's fine. I especially don't want to see him in Secret Wars. Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, if they ever come back in any capacity, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, you ruin those characters' endings so hard that it's just impossible to feel anything for the MCU again. Even if it's alternate versions, if it's the same actors, is it really alternate versions? They're going to be the same. Like, if an alternate version Steve Rogers comes out and, like, sees Sam Wilson, it's just gonna diminish the impact of Sam taking on the mantle,
taking the legacy,
and yes, taking the legacy, and not just taking the legacy as the legacy character, but taking the legacy in the way the MCU framed it, and this is the way they framed it, as a black man taking up the mantle of Captain America, somebody that really the world didn't 100% agree with in universe and outside of universe. To bring back Steve Rogers not only diminishes that character's entire arc, but diminishes the importance of the racial equality that Marvel was trying to put forward in that show. Not to mention the emotional impact and resonance that Tony Stark's death had on not just in-universe again, but outside of the universe in the real world, like we were talking about the people crying during Endgame and being affected by that character. Both those characters are very special to millions of people and very important to the story. So if they come back in any capacity, multiverse or otherwise, I think you greatly diminish the emotional impact that those previous movies had, and I think it'll leave a sour taste in everyone's mouth, no matter what happens with those characters. Grices, do you agree with that, or do you want to see these guys come back? Like, would you be excited in any capacity? Like, I would just be depressed if
there's definitely a part of me that I would be like, it's a cool poster, I guess, to see like Toby, Hugh, and RDJ, because to me those are probably, I think objectively, the three
Like
tent
pillars
poles
of the
yeah,
eras,
of
if you will, or universes.
right, like
Yeah.
they kind of each bashed into Marvel at different peaks at different times when it, spiked. But I think the only interesting way is if they committed to, if they did like Hydra Cap, Superior Iron Man, an evil Thor. If it was just like, if just for, because I thought Endgame, the biggest thing that it lacked is you obviously have Thanos, who's compelling, but when those two armies are going at it, we have a couple dozen characters we really like, and then on the other side, just random fodder. Like, who cares about Cull Obsidian?
Me.
Well, okay. Who else cares about Cull Obsidian?
We got some Proxima Midnight fans in the chat.
Proxima Midnight.
But I was like, it would have been cool if there was more. Like, I would have liked it if Thanos, Mind Stone, Reality Stone whips up some of the villains from the prior movies
like
as
Ultron,
like illusions.
Loki. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would have been cool. And so I think if Secret Wars, they wanted to do like on this side are the new guys, and on this side is like evil Kang.
Yeah, but then it's like on this side, all the people you cherish and love, and on this side, the people you don't give a fuck about. We're just all gonna root for the villains. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's the problem for sure. I mean, I think that's a symptom for sure, is that and that's why they would bring him back, is because they know that we care about the old guys more. Like that would be their admission of failure.
It just sucks, man. Just like build the new characters. We want to care about them. We do. We really do. We just don't know them. You gotta give us more.
Yeah, one Shang-Chi movie does not equal all that they gave Chris Evans. But I also think
Shang-Chi could be the next Black Panther or Captain America, but if you don't give him the chance to be, then he never will.
Agreed.
Ty, how would
but
you
it's
feel
also
about that?
it's also I don't know though, because it's like, if people are tuned out completely, what do you? Because a lot of people, I think deep down, they're like, all right, Endgame was at the end of it,
but I feel like they only feel that way because of what has happened. Like, I don't think I think people were still invested. Shang-Chi, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, WandaVision era, like early Disney Plus era. I think everyone was like still like, yeah, MCU fucking rocks. But then like Hawkeye came out, and then it started slow. Then Moon Knight came out, and then She-Hulk came out, and then it just kept slowly. But I feel like we were still on board. I don't think that sentiment, like Endgame was the end of Marvel, for me, like started until like a year ago. Because people were realizing like everything coming out of shit, Endgame was the end. I'll just say none of this is like.
I never liked it.
Yeah.
I never was looking forward to it. What do you think, Ty? Do you agree?
I mean, if you're gonna bring back those two, you're gonna probably lose more money than you are gonna make trying to do that. Like, especially if it's just like blatantly like the fresh out of Endgame, fresh out of like, I don't know, like a different like. Regardless if it's at the beginning, I just don't want it to be that version of the character. Like what Crisis was saying. I mean, like having something like alternate villains or something like that. I feel like that idea could be kind of cool. I feel like that's what kind of made Multiverse of Madness for me, like, I guess, really interesting, because it was like all these different like versions of the characters, not necessarily like, because like it could have just been the Mr. Fantastic from like the old movies or something like that, you know what I mean? But instead of doing that, you got like alternate, like you know, like just these alternate versions. I feel like with that would be kind of cool. You know, maybe if you want to play around with that idea, especially with like,
you want to see RDJ backhand Tom Holland
as Superior Iron Man. Yeah, that would be insane.
You're not my Mr. Stark.
That would be insane, bro. That would be.
And then Miles Morales comes in, Venom Blast, in one shot Iron Man.
But if it's gonna be
3D animated. Miles Morales
facts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like Captain America and Iron Man just coming back like directly from fresh out of Endgame just takes away like so much like character development from everyone. Like if Tom goes like, "Oh my God, Mr. Stark, we could fight again," like we just spent. First of all, we already spent enough movies trying to make this guy his own character.
So we want to re-traumatize poor Peter Parker like that with
Yeah, like
Iron
come
Man
on,
coming
bro.
Evil
out.
And
Cap.
then you just like
Evil Iron Man.
the one thing that he was finally managing to overcome, and now he's finally dealing with his own story. He's not gonna deal with that again. Like, come on. Like, if that happens, and then the next movie, like Peter's dealing with the ghost of the alternate Tony Stark, like how it wasn't Far From Home. Like, come on, bro.
All right, here's the ultimate Secret Wars jump the shark moment. Insomniac Spider-Man comes into live action, played by Ben Jordan, the guy that provides the face for the new guy, voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, the guy lip syncing. That would be the ultimate jumping of the shark. I think it would really be over at that point. Like everyone would be like, "I'm good. I'm just."
No, let Yuri in the suit, and let Josh Keaton come in as Spectacular Spider-Man. Feel me?
The
Like,
problem is, it's like from Endgame, it was the culmination of they put all their cards out on the table with that movie.
Right.
Like every plot line, everything we've set up, we're concluding and even passing on to future stories. And so like what they should have done is they should have downscaled. Maybe, probably in their production as well. They should have produced less at higher quality. But I also think like you can't build towards Kang because and all the multiverse and all these different infinite timelines and X-Men Fantastic Four wrapped up into that, because now, I mean, I don't think it's gonna. They definitely do not think it is enough just to have another Endgame where it's just the heroes on Earth 616 teaming up to fight of Kang.
I mean, it is the Multiverse Saga. Like,
right. They have to escalate. They feel like they have to, and they feel like if they can't get RDJ, they can't get Chris Evans, then.
And then after
Toby,
like the Multiverse Saga is probably like the Mutant Saga or something, and then you have the X-Men carry it, and then maybe a reboot. But like a reboot, does a reboot work in the MCU? That's like a whole nother episode we could probably talk about. But I think we hit everything we wanted to talk about for the Marvel article, as well as DanCo. We're coming up on an hour and a half here today. I think this is a pretty good first episode. We sort of got our bearings together. We're getting our chemistry rocking and rolling in a live podcast sort of setting. If you guys like this video, then like this video. Share it, subscribe to Crisis. I think the plan is eventually to make a Peak Fiction podcast channel, but we wanted to get on one of our channels just to make you guys aware that it is out there. We'll probably have a clip channel eventually to have our best clips out there, but for now it's going to be on the Crisis channel until we start growing it and we feel like we can branch off to another one. So thank you everyone for stopping by and checking out the first episode, a pretty wild one where we talked about DanCo, a prominent YouTuber in the space, about 400,000 subs, hundreds of millions of views, and how he has been plagiarizing and stealing, siphoning content from other content creators within YouTube and outside of YouTube from various publications. We think that's really important, so check out Tylearn's video, which is pinned in the chat. Please go watch that. Please go share it. The word needs to get out to everyone in the community so they don't support this kind of behavior, and he needs to be held accountable for that. So we really hope you guys go check that out. And then Marvel, can it be saved? I think maybe that's a question for another episode. We can talk about offline. We can talk about what we think about that and give you guys maybe what we would do to sort of bring it back to reality. But that's it for us. I'd like to say thank you to Crisis for hosting the Peak Fiction podcast on his channel. Thank you to Tylearn for posting that video and exposing DanCo for the plagiarist that he is. I am Garrick from Key Issues. Thank you everybody for tuning in to the Peak Fiction podcast, and we will be back next week, we're going to try and figure out the best time. But thank you again to everybody for stopping by, and we will see you in the next one.
Do here is go back.
Bye.
back.
Fiction Podcast!